Hi guys, very excited to do a Riocan update. Especially, when we had April, we had this huge, massive shutdown across Canada. And now that the Canadian economy is reopening, now that a lot of kids are going back to school in September, and the fact that Riocan gave a bit of insight based on its transcripts and press releases on forward guidance. I'm going to dive into all that right now. What does it mean? And is there opportunity? To make more of these videos for you, like stock investing, smash that like button, smash it, hit it, so that you let me know to make more of these videos for you. Now, Riocan has dropped significantly since mid-March. It dropped more than 50%. Even right now, it's still 40% away from its all-time highs. So is there actual opportunity? So let's dive into its recent earnings, and it might give us insight in the very short term for the rest of 2020. And what does it mean for its dividends? Now, I'm not going to go through all the earnings. I'm going to give you all the highlights because I've done all the research. I'm going to highlight a few things that I thought were the key takeaways. Now, we all know Riocan is huge on retail, but it's been trying to amplify its portfolio to focus on residential real estate. Now, the great news about Riocan is that every one of its revenue sources doesn't take up more than 5% of its total revenue, which is like huge, which is amazing diversity. So it's very diversified. Now, what a key metric that I really was keen to look at was the amount of rent it collected in the past few months, especially with the Canadian economy reopening. Now, back in April, Riocan collected 65% of its commercial rent. Now, to date, Riocan has already collected 85% of its rent from commercial tenants for July, which is highlighting the rapid improvement in its counterparty risk. Another key takeaway is that its occupancy rate is still at 96%, which is amazing. Another key takeaway was that it was saying that in the next quarter, it'll be pushing for aggressively for rent to be collected. Now, it's been using the federal government subsidies for the rent for commercial owners, where the Riocan has been subsidizing some of the rent, 25%, and the rest of it is covered by federal government. But it's going to aggressively push for actual rent in the upcoming quarter, not give up that 25% if it doesn't have to. And they said in its transcripts that they expect that 90% of the rent should be collected by the end of this year because of what they learned recently in this obviously 100-year event, and given all its history with Target and Sears, all those big retail stores shrinking and bankrupting, it's really learned to pivot. There's really looking to amplify and grow its focus on residential real estate, which is much more stable. Now, the biggest takeaway I got from its recent earnings is that it actually gave a forward guidance for the next quarter, something Riocan has never done before. And it's really to share how confident it is with the amount of rent that they're going to collect and how much cash they're going to distribute back to its shareholders. So its FFO is expected to be $1.60, which is based on an occupancy of 94%. And they said it's actually based on very conservative estimates. Now, they said that they do have some empty spaces coming up. They didn't take into account any new leases signing this year because they said at first it's not even practical and it takes time to turn over tenants. So, and the other thing is that they realize that there is going to be some offsets when it comes to empty spaces. That means that their parking spaces and their other ancillary revenue sources are going to be decreased. So that was all considered in its forward FFO for next quarter, which is at $1.60. And what that really means is that its payout ratio is going to be less than 80%. And so what essentially they are saying is that the dividend is still safe and they have ample liquidity in the company to survive for the rest of this fiscal year. Now, I think this is super positive, given that the CEO and the team has announced an FFO forward guidance for the next quarter. Just gives me a huge amount of confidence in their financial situation. I mean, a lot of retail is getting hit. In fact, they said it's a really death to retail, death to fashion. The percentage of rent that they're not collecting has to do with something that they've always known was a dying field, which is death to fashion, death to retail. And that's why they're pivoting more and more into residential real estate. Now, with the FFO of $1.60, what does this really mean? So the key assumptions with $1.60 as its FFO is first, they expecting occupancy to be 94%. The second part is that they're expecting rent to be collected at 90% for the next quarter. And they're expecting that the leases that they are signing right now isn't going to take place until next fiscal year. So they're not taking account of the new leases that they're going to be signed this fiscal year. I think given that it's fairly achievable assumptions that are next quarter makes this FFO very, very realistic. So I have full confidence in its dividend distribution, given it's still less than 80% at the FFO of $1.60. And the fact that the company has massive liquidity with $1 billion, it can survive for the very, very long term. Given that the stock price of Riocan has dropped so significantly, that's why I've been making a bigger position in Riocan, because I think there's a lot of potential for capital growth. And for the income investors who are looking for a sustainable dividend, Riocan has been around for a very, very long time. And back in 2008, they still kept its dividend. It never cut its dividend at all. So in 2008 was a pretty bad period as well. So I have full confidence that they're going to pay its dividend, and I'm fairly optimistic that they're going to have a lot of capital growth. I mean, it might not happen this fiscal year. And considering that the baseline for this fiscal year is so low, they even said in the transcripts that they're expecting double-digit growth for next fiscal year. So I can say that I'm very happy with my position in Riocan, and I'm in it for the long term. Anyways, I hope you guys found this video super helpful, and if so, please give me a thumbs up. And guys, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe to my channel if you found this valuable, because I'm going to be making more of these videos for you. So please subscribe, hit that bell notification so you get the latest and greatest videos coming to you. Plus, it's free. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. If you want me to make more of these videos for you, like stock investing, smash that like button, smash it, hit it, so that you let me know to make more of these videos for you.